Hello, welcome to Creative You Podcast. It is the 1st of June. Today I'd like to talk about how you avoid problems with patterns. So I just finished the Erogonium cowl by Vikki Perkins. I've done her things before. This is a cotton yarn, Lion Brand Cottonese. So I sell this at the shop for $6.99, so it's a $7 project. It does have nice stretch. I don't my end worked in, but I could double it if it was a chilly day. So it's lovely. There were no problems at all with the pattern, just some problems with me. But I'm not sure why. Maybe it's my yarn that I didn't get that effect. I'm not sure what I did or didn't do. So, I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. So, how do you avoid problems in patterns? And this is a book, a magazine that I have at the shop, and I have a stack of these. And so I would like to knit a sample and for the shop, because when you own a yarn shop, it kind of affects what you make. And even though I swore off Ravelry last year when they had all those problems, it's almost impossible not to use it. Pasteur, the scientist, said, we stand on the shoulders of others, and we do in the craft business. I remember the other Christmas, a customer came in, she got this yarn for Christmas. She started to make this tam. Everything was going wrong. Nothing was working out. She ended up ripping the whole thing out. But had she gone on Ravelry and looked at the projects, people said this pattern is a disaster. And one person took the time to rewrite the whole thing. So I thought this vest is cute. I don't see any problems. I don't see that the one end is higher or lower. It seems fine. It has this really cute dip in the back. However, when I went on Ravelry, people said there is no dip in the back. It's just straight across, and it's very disappointing. So that kind of ruled that out. And I remember talking one time to someone that worked in this business, and they would talk about how when patterns didn't work out, they would pin them or tape them or do other things. And so sometimes you can see problems in a pattern, the way it just doesn't look right, the way it lays, or it looks like there's an obvious cover up. You should be able to see under the arms, like this picture here. She seems to have an unusual pose. Why would you pose like that? That makes me wonder, are they hiding a defect in the pattern? And there was another top in here that I looked at, kind of a boxy, oversized top, and you could wear it over a swimsuit. But what people said was, this thing is absolutely ginormous. So the only thing I really found in here was a scarf. And yeah, so even this baby sweater, it's supposed to be a little sailor top. When you look at it on the child, the colors just don't look right. They don't come down to the front at all. They look like, to me, they look awkward, and they look if you look at the placement of the buttons, it's very awkward. One is offset and one is, it just doesn't work. And if you look at the bottom flares out. So you begin to look for these things. Does the bottom flare out? Does it look like there's a bunch under the arm? You know, you look for different things. And then when I was surfing today, I found a pattern that everybody that made it just loved the pattern. However, there were so many problems being huge. People would say, now I'm not talking about for me, but for my granddaughters, especially in lighter colors, it's very cute. People made straps. People would say, I have ripped this out 3 times. They would say, I'm a 40 bust and I had to make the 30 size. So clearly something is very wrong. And sometimes you can see things in the photograph that don't look right. So over the next week, I'll be looking for some things to show you and point out. So I've been redoing this little pattern in 3s. Let me tell you, I was very upset the other night. My husband fell asleep and I was knitting. And here's why I was upset. Row 31, the cap sleeves. You do all these things. Row 32, knit all stitches. Work 3 more stitches in established pattern, maintaining button bands. This is a $6 pattern. That's row 32. Work 3 more rows as established. So I did that. Then it says row 33. Now wait a minute. I did row 32. I then did 3 more rows. And now I'm at row 33. So I wasn't supposed to do the 3 rows. Is she talking about the next 3 rows to make sure I do them in pattern? So I ripped out the 3 rows and then proceeded. Then I came to another area that said the same thing. Work 5 rows, blah, blah. And then the next row, I saw it didn't account for the 5 rows. So I thought, oh, I got to rip the 5 rows out. She wasn't telling me to do that. So then it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and I message her and I see other people's comments. I'm reading down through and I start to see that people had the same problem. I ripped out, and she's like, no, you were supposed to do those. She thought it would be easier not to include those rows in the count, but she never once revised the pattern. There's like almost 9,000 projects, and she never revised the pattern when people were having trouble. And then when I get up here and it tells me to continue to knit so many inches and continue to do the buttonholes are finished. There's only 3 buttonholes, and yet she's telling me to continue to do the buttonholes. And then when I was reading the comments and someone again asked the questions I'm asking, she says, I thought I addressed this. Hey, when you pay for a pattern, and this woman is a professional, she's been published, you shouldn't have to search through columns and columns of comments to find the answers to your problems. And what really made me mad is that she didn't revise the pattern. She's just letting people struggle along and rip out. And having said that, I wouldn't do another one of her patterns because to me, it's a lack of sincerity and caring. It's Kelly Herdrich in 3s. Nope. And now this is my second sample. The other one I knitted, it's been a few years. I must have fumbled through. I don't remember. And so now every time somebody purchases this pattern, I'm going to have to what? Because usually people don't print the pattern out at the shop, they have them put in their Ravelry box, and I'm gonna have to try to explain this, and they won't remember. So yeah, that's a problem. So if I didn't give a little shout out to this game, Patchwork, we got it as a gift. You may think it's a girl game that guys wouldn't want to play, but actually it's very strategic. You don't get money, you get buttons. You get a quilt board, and you surround the boards with these quilt patches, and they have different values at payday. You get different payouts. And the quest is to try to fit all these different shapes on your board and cover it before the end of the game. And my husband and I have a lot of fun with it. It's a 2-player game. It's called Patchwork. So on to the Isla. Onto the Isla purse, which is a crocheted pattern, and I did it in a Cascade yarn paradigm shift. I think this might be the deep dive color. It's navy blue, some green. This was a delightful pattern after the other one. So whoops, there goes my strap. And she gives patterns for a mommy bag and a little toddler bag. And in the picture, she shows them. It's done in what they call boho style. And there's a beautiful picture of the bag. So I'm getting ready to attach the strap, and the strap is going to bear the weight for whatever you put in the purse. So you have to put some consideration into how to attach it. If you just attach it in the top row, I don't know. To me, I like to put mine down a little bit. And then you have to ask yourself, are you going to put it on the outside or the inside? It's often more attractive on the inside. The other thing, if at all possible, I like to loop it. And I'm looking at her purse, and she put rings. That is hard to see, but the small one, you can see it off to the corner, that she put little rings. And so you can buy it for $5, or there's a free pattern available. And so I think the rings are a good idea. Let's see what she says in the directions. Strap, optional, so D rings. A D ring looks like a sideways D. So I have some of those at the shop, so I think that's a great idea. And then one thing I have at the shop too are fringe makers, and I always thought, are they really necessary? But when you get to cut 90 strands, 11 inches long, it might be nice to do the fringe maker, because they'll all be the same length, and the fringes will go underneath here. So you'll see your lovely pattern. And I'd also like to do one in a solid color. Blues always show drab on filming. I'm not sure why, because this is a pretty brilliant shade of blue. So anyway, it could be a baby bib. How about that? That's where people get their inspiration. Like, oh, this could be a little watermelon bib. So happy crafting to all of you. Happy month of June. Hopefully this will be an upswing. I see a lot of local places are getting to open. Some eateries are getting creative and they're having like pit beef out in the open or chicken and everything. So we all need to get out and enjoy the beautiful weather. Keep that shine, keep that smile. Shine, baby, shine. I'll see you the next time.